whoever the CR is, please mark the numbers of absentees now. Okay. Can you do
Okay,
that?
sir.
Yes.
Should I give you the absentee on WhatsApp or after the class?
I mean, can you give it now itself in the chat?
Right now, sir, a lot of students have not joined. They are joining.
No, that is why I need that.
All right,
We
sir.
need to know why they are late.
All right, sir.
Yes.
अरे बोल दियो सबको ज्वाइन कर ले. New, tell everyone to join.
तुषार माइक बंद
Fast,
कर.
fast.
Okay. So, did you find all are absent?
Yes, sir.
Please send me that numbers.
All right.
How many students are there? NS Div 2. Right, Div 2 may, okay, 40. One is left, so 39 students are there. And now we have barely 30 students. I need almost 10 names. Okay, you send me that. Meanwhile, let me just start sharing and start showing. Last class we talked about division 2, na? So do you remember what we were discussing in the previous class before ending?
Combination
The combination of transpose and longitudinal strings.
Okay. So did we complete combination framing? We understand the diagram.
So we saw two examples.
We did the differences and we have completed. I remember div 2 was ahead of div 1 slightly. Okay. So combination framing, if we have done, then nothing to worry. Okay, we have completed then. On your Moodle, you have some really nice files. Those material, they have ample amount of text material.
Recording in progress.
Why I'm saying bottom structure, we will see that. Okay. So let's start. Where are the names of absentees? How long will you take to give that? Okay, I got that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We need more than 8 names. अच्छा, as of now, okay. ठीक है. We will see later on who all are coming out of these 8 names. ठीक है. Let's start. uh, mm, mm, okay. Oh, sorry. I had put myself on mute and I was talking. Sorry. So, what I was saying is, are you all aware of the term duck heel? Have you ever heard this? Do you know what it is? Please tell me.
No, sir.
No. Okay. Today we'll be talking about bottom structure only. I can tell you there also. But as of now, let's say that it is a type of keel. Okay. Uh, in the next unit, we will start barely in 5-10 minutes. We will see what duck keel is. Okay. It's just type of a keel. So we have chosen here duck keel. And also remember, usually in shipyards, the laying of the keel plate marks the physical construction of the ship. Uh, what happens is when a shipyard makes a ship, they take money from the owner in different phases. And this in different phases means there are different milestones linked to kind of the payments. Like imagine, for example, you ask your friend to, you know, write your homework. Suppose there are 10 pages. He has told you, like, every given page will give you a chocolate. So if a guy is clever enough, he can skip a few odd pages. He can write only on the even pages and he can get more chocolate out of it. Am I right? Are you able to understand?
Yes,
Similarly, shipyards will try to work out the milestones as quickly as possible so that they get some money. Because there can be shipyards who are very big and they have a lot of cash with them, so they can make a ship uh, without the help of owner. But most of the shipyards, they prefer doing the milestone activities as soon as possible so that they get the cash to carry on onward activities. Okay. And in Indian shipyards, keel laying is a ceremony. They will do that puja thing. They will put that coconut, and everything is very ceremonious kind of thing. So we have chosen the duck keel. Thereafter, we have put a number of side girders. We have added the floors. These floors are also of different types. Okay, today we will talk about that also. So this mostly takes care of the bottom structure. But no, if it is a longitudinally framed ship, we need to have longitudinal also. We have the deck girders. We have our ring structures. That is floor for the bottom structure, transverse frames for the side shell, and deck beams or deck transverses under the deck. And we have connected them using brackets here and here. We have added the bottom plating. We have added the tank top, the side shell, and the deck. We have added the longitudinals. That is the bottom longitudinals, the inner bottom longitudinals, side shell, and deck. And this, we already know that they pass through the transverse number of openings in them, okay, which we call as scallops. This is how they look like. They just pass through. Actually, this is another type of scallop where the frame itself is welded, so we don't have to use a collar plate. And finally, we have the structure. Then you should not get overwhelmed with the number of structures present. You should have a clear picture in your mind as to which structure is what and what is the intended use of it. Is it okay? By now, you do not know everything, but by the end of this semester, you will be very thorough, at least comfortable with the different naming terminologies and the purpose of different members that you are seeing in this picture. That is what will happen for sure. Okay. Do you want to ask anything on this? If not, I will move on to the next unit.
So this structure is for bulk carrier.
Actually, this structure is not for a bulk carrier.
This
The
is same for
structure,
every ship.
no, I cannot say that also, but similar for every ship almost. Similar. We cannot say same because let me show you the different changes. How you will understand the structure is from which ship. Look here. If there is no hatch cover shown, it cannot be a bulk carrier, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So if no hatch cover, we cannot say it is bulk carrier because how are they going to load it?
Just
And,
general cargo ship.
General cargo के लिए भी we need a hatch ना. We need to take in the cargo. Mostly this is
Then it
from
would be oil tanker.
yes, it is an oil tanker, but they have not shown those longitudinal bulkheads also in between. So it's safe to assume that this is like a study project kind of thing. They have shown the structures for easier understanding. What happens, I will just tell you quickly. When we are making a structure for any type of ship, suppose you talk about bulk carrier. Always remember, bulk carrier may we need that sloping kind of thing. We need some slope kind of thing here. we need to have that kind of a plate, and we will also have a sloping plate like this. The reason for this is, think of it this way. Suppose you are taking wheat, for example. If you are taking wheat and you do not have this kind of a slope in the corner, then what will happen is the wheat has gone into these crevices, into these areas. Now, how are you going to clear off that cargo? It is going to be difficult, because when it is an oil tanker, you are just pumping out, so you don't require anything. But for solid cargo like this, you cannot. It is difficult to get these cargo items, and you are not going to send a person with a broomstick and he is going to clean it up. Okay, mostly it is done with the help of mechanical grabs or some machines which will go and they will kind of scrape off all the cargo. If you don't have this plate, then it is very much likely that the ship is not bulk heavy. Okay? Because when you are making a ship, you have to think of what type of cargo you are taking. Okay, and one more thing, on the top you will always find that bulk carriers will have a plate like this. Anyone knows why that is added? Any guess? Make a guess. Any guess? Are we all connected? Yes or no? Do you want me
Yes,
to
sir.
answer?
Yes, sir.
Acha. Let me answer them. देखिए, have you ever poured sugar or salt into a bottle at your house?
Yes, sir.
Uh, so you must have noticed that when you pour sugar or salt into a bottle, okay, salt is fine, but it happens with sugar also. It usually stays in a heap, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
And then what you do is you lift the bottle, you hit it a few times on the table, it evens up, then you drop in more sugar, right? This is the normal procedure we follow, right? So with a bulk carrier, similar thing happens. Only thing is we cannot lift the bulk carrier, hit it a few times so that the cargo evens up and we load more. Okay. Now when the cargo has formed a heap, there is an angle, isn't it? Suppose I call it alpha. This angle is called as the angle of repose of the type of cargo. So when we make a bulk carrier, we know what all types of cargo we are going to carry. And based on that, the slope is basically for that. So that when we take cargo, the the slope of the cargo is somewhat like this. Because otherwise, what will happen is if we don't have that sloping plate, when the ship moves in the ocean, it will have motions. And because of motions, the cargo may get shifted to that particular corner and our ship will start listing. Is it clear now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is the reason you have these two plates in a bulk carrier. Okay. And when it comes to oil tanker, it is relatively easy to find out if you are looking from outside, because on the decks you will have no hatch covers, only mostly pipings. When it comes to general cargo ship, you have a twin deck. Almost no other types of ship will require a twin deck. In cargo ships, the ship with more number of or most number of decks are the ro-ro ships, because you don't want bigger decks. I mean, higher decks. You need smaller decks to carry the cars, trucks, tractors, anything that has a wheel on it. Is it clear now about the type of ships? This was a very brief talk. Do you want to ask anything? Any questions?
No, sir. Clear.
Okay. If this is done, let's move on to our next unit. We will slowly. So where is that file? Here it is. Okay, this is the thing that we are going to see. We will talk about bilge keels, double bottoms, peak tanks, and so many other things. But before that, let's move slowly. I did not want to start with bilge keel, but it is there, so I cannot do anything. Many a times, you will notice that we have a ship, and you will notice that there is a plate like this attached to the ship. Have you noticed this anytime?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Now, do you know what is the purpose of that plate?
To reduce the rolling and pitching.
Very good. I mean, you're already aware of this. I mean, did you study this or did you read it on your own somewhere?
We studied
We
about it
studied
in
in
Sem 1.
PSK.
Okay. I did not know you had this topic in your syllabus already. Okay, it will be easier for me. I will talk less about it. So, this bilge keel is added to the ship to dampen the rolling motions. Okay, and also remember that this is not the only way, or this is not the only mechanism which will help us reduce our rolling. Rather, this is one of the passive systems used for damping the rolling or reduce the rolling motions. Uh, we have quite a few active systems also that are used for this purpose. Are you aware of them? Any active system? Yes, no, something?
What is the question?
Okay. Bilge keel is a passive anti-rolling system. Do you know any active anti-rolling system that is used on a ship? No, okay. I mean, we will not be discussing them, but while we are talking about the topic, you should know what all other possibilities we have. To reduce the rolling motions of a ship, we use a different number of systems, different types of systems. Bilge keel is one of them. We have this in our syllabus, we will talk about it, but you should know what all things are. Bilge keel is widely used because it is easier to fabricate and costs less. Okay, but there are other systems which are called as active systems. Now, these active systems, uh, bilge keel is a simple plate. It is just welded onto the ship. Okay, but active systems, they have mechanisms in place. So they will have a control system inside the ship. They are expensive, effective, but they are expensive, and uh, the maintenance work that needs to be done on them is more. Active systems can be in the form of fins also. Okay, there are retractable fins. These fins are similar to bilge keel, except you can control how far they extend, the angle of it, and other things. Okay, but for the sake of our discussion, we will limit our discussion to bilge keel only. Let's see. Actually, do not pay much attention to the riveted ones. Riveted, anything that is riveted is not used. It, it was in the days. Titanic, they used to. Now we do not. Uh, Actually, this document has been prepared by Kevin sir. You know, sir, right?
Yes.
he only prepared this, and I'm just using it to show you. And these are already uploaded on Moodle. Uh, when we uh, place this, when we place a bilge keel on a ship, position of the bilge keel is determined from CFD analysis. Okay, we don't talk about it because CFD is something you study in masters or in higher level courses. But because think of it, what difference in my here or here? Slides are always possible done using numerical simulations. Now, comes is if I add a plate in this manner, will it not dampen or will it not reduce my rolling motions? Tell me, yes or no?
No, sir.
No. So, it will reduce rolling motions. How is it reducing the rolling motions? It is basically because it's there. If we have a flat plate, imagine pushing your hand with palm facing water inside the water surface, and imagine pushing your karate wala pose in water surface. Surface area, more resistance, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So this, if I take all, can reduce rolling motion. So why are we not doing that? Any guess?
Because sir, when we are at the port, we need some space to it can get
Mhm. Very good. Basically, you do not want to increase the breadth of the ship. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Suppose earlier we were capable of passing through a particular canal. If I add a bilge keel like this, we cannot pass anymore, right? So if I say this statement, then you positions when we are adding the bilge keel there, do they not increase the ship? Right? Answer is do not increase the breadth of the ship. They are added in such a manner that they stay well within the maximum breadth of the ship. I will show you a picture to illustrate what I mean. So let you see. Right now, keel in a manner that it does not increase the breadth of it. The reason is whenever we start making a ship in its phase on itself, we usually know the route. We know the route and we know the range of the ship. The route, the intended area of voyage, the range, number of nautical miles that the ship wants to sail one way. You may ask, why do we need that information? Yes.
So
What difference it would make? देखिए, if we are increasing the breadth of the ship, maneuvering becomes an issue. Okay, why I'm telling is, first of all, suppose you want to pass through Panama Canal. Okay, so if you want to pass through Panama Canal, they say that the maximum breadth of the the ship should be 32 meters. Because of this type of configuration, it it severely reduces the breadth of the ship. I mean, you have to reduce this breadth if you want to build the bridge. It is causing you financial.
So
Am
this
I clear?
upper one is fin.
No. I was just talking about a hypothetical scenario as to why can't we add like this. We don't add anything like this. This is just for the sake of asking a question. I showed you something like that. Things are all added in the same location of bilge keel, but they have more controls. They have hydraulic systems inside the ship. They can extend a little long by you can change this and more. They're more flexible. Okay. Any other question?
No.
More question? Okay. So this is how the bilge keels are. So this right you're seeing is the bilge keel. Okay. Do you know what this white thing on it is? This white thing. Anyone? Take a guess.
No idea, sir.
No.
So which
Okay.
one?
This white. It looks like a cookie. No. These are called as sacrificial anodes. Okay, they are called as sacrificial anodes. These are we put little plates of them. Basically, salt water is a very aggressive environment. It causes corrosion. So if we have the sacrificial anodes, there are some calculations required for sacrificial anodes, and when in salt water, these anodes get eaten up by salt water and the nearby surroundings. For that reason, we put this. And many a times you will see in the ship near the aft end, near the forward end, mostly towards the aft end, we put this sacrificial anodes to stand by. Okay. Now there are more concerns also actually as to uh, how we did you study fluid mechanics anytime? Do you have it?
Yes, sir.
You have fluid mechanics.
Like, 10, 12.
Okay.
A bit of it.
Did you Did you come across a term called as flow separation anytime?
No, sir.
Okay. We will not jump into that. But just to fix the bilge keel, it is not only the breadth that we count. We also have some hydrodynamic properties to be taken care of. Okay. So we do not want these bilge keels to interfere with the hydrodynamic properties of the ship. When a ship moves, you will see that very close to the ship, there will be a thin line of water which will be almost traveling along with it. You feel that. Matlab, if you have a ship, you will have water passing, and those we do not want those train of waves which are passing through close to the ship to be in contact with the bilge keel, because they can impose significant amount of forces on the bilge. So there are not many considerations, but as of now we will not talk about them. It's not in our syllabus and we will get carried away. if we talk about them. So let's stop that. And one more thing, this build keel, okay, the purpose of build keel is rolling motions. So in no way we will be interested to damage the ship because of the bilge keel. The bilge keel is added to the ship in such a manner that in case the bilge keel hits something, then in that case the damage be minimum to the hull. It is possible that the bilge keel will get detached and be removed, but our hull stays safe. Which is why we usually do not attach the bilge keel. So you know that we have a stick plate which is added onto the hull. Bilge keel is added to that particular plate. Okay. So what I'm trying to show is, in this case, the type of or the manner in which the bilge keel is added is this one. Okay, we have another plate. This another plate is called as a doubling plate. Doubling plate means it is just another plate which is added, because in that particular region we have two plates. We call the other plate to be a doubler plate or a doubling plate or simply a doubler. When we move along forward in the course where such a doubler plate is used, basically any region, if we feel जैसे कि here we want that if this bilge keel gets damaged, our hull is kind of a thing. So we are adding a doubler plate. Now, similarly, suppose on a deck we will have those railings, right? If we have these railings, then below them also we may want to add some doubler plates. Basically, the need of doubler plates is to protect the bottom plate and sometimes to increase the strength in that particular region. Because before starting of framing system, we understand that increasing thickness of a plate increases its strength, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
So similarly, putting two plates one on top of a will also increase its strength. So similar kind of a criteria. Okay. And whatever is written besides it, please go through them. They are perfect from your exam's point of view. Okay. Whatever I'm saying, similar thing is written in words in the slide. You can read them later. If you have any doubts, you need any further clarification, you can always come back. Okay. Now, okay, here it's also given questions on bilge keel. Okay. Go if you here one did not know why it's over that length of the ship. Okay. This one I did not say. Okay, this helped. If we see in the plan view of a ship, the ship is like this. The bow side, this much distance, wherever the shape changes, is called as the entrance. Okay, and the stern side, the aft side, wherever the shape changes is called as the run of ship. The mid portion, wherever it does not change much, is know this.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so fitment of uh, this bilge keel in the parallel middle body is easier, and if we add this, if we take this bilge keel towards the forward portion of the ship, it can cause some additional stresses because when the ship is pounding, then the forces will be acting from down below this bilge keel, which we do not want. So that is the reason we do not extend it over the length of the ship, and we mostly limit it towards the parallel middle body of the ship. Okay. Rest of the things are answered already. Coming to double bottom construction. Actually, I do not know why only double bottom is there, but there are ships of single bottom also, but I think it should be good enough for you from a syllabus point of view, maybe. Now, double bottom, whatever is read here, okay, but we need to understand the concept, because whenever it comes to engineering, if you do not have any benefit, then why should you spend money on it? It is as simple as that. If our ship is okay with being a single bottom ship, then why add a double bottom? The answer to that can be in many ways. First of all, we have already understood that for a bulk carrier, double bottom is a basic necessity. Because nowadays it is mandatory. You cannot do anything. There are authorities in place, there are rules and regulations in place. You need to keep them. But for smaller ships like tugs, do you require a double bottom? The answer is probably no. You don't require. If we are only talking about we need to keep something on the flooring also. We have a single bottom, we will just put some wooden plates on top of it. It gives us a flat smooth surface to work on. But that won't be considered as a double bottom. Or it's just a wooden flooring kind of arrangement. Now the actual benefits of double bottom is first, it provides a safety against any damage. We have a ship. Earlier, any grounding happens, we have loss of cargo. If we have a double bottom, we have some safety. The second thing, we know that double bottom is used for ballasting, and for the purpose of this ballasting, we are not mixing up any cargo with it, because we are not taking ballast anymore in. The rest of the things actually is slightly stiffening the water, we are increasing the strength definitely, but this point is slightly dicey. This. We will come to it. Now, these points, whatever is written,
So
all
what
these.
is this MK?
You have not studied stability as of now.
No.
Okay. Then it will be difficult to explain because it requires the concept of stability. Because that part we can discuss it later. In this semester, you have all these GM, KG, and everything. Okay. So you will study there. Basically, in the ship, when I have a ship, we have a few points. We have the K, that is the keel. Okay. And then we have the B. This B is the centroid of the underwater volume. Okay, whatever, I mean, we take or we consider the buoyancy force to be acting upwards from this center of the entire ship. And then we have the M. Which is called as the meta center. Do you know what meta center is? Okay, let me just tell you. I mean, I will not be teaching stability to you, so I cannot show you materials on that. Whoever the teacher is, they will prefer showing their own material. But in layman's terms, think of it this way. You have seen a fidget spinner. Have you seen? That was a craze before a few days, a few months.
Yes, sir.
Have you seen? Now, when a fidget spinner is spinning, you will notice that the middle portion, which is
Yes, sir.
that's not moving. Yes.
Yeah.
So similarly, when this ship is going to roll, then when that rolling is happening, basically this M point stays constant. This M is like the pivot point, and that is called as a metacenter. Okay, how it is obtained and how that no, basically the ship rolls on this and this point is the pivot point. The rolling happens about this point, kind of thing. You will study it later. I don't want to ruin the interest by talking about it. Whoever teacher take, they will approach it in their own manner. And what I am trying to say is this text, I will not be reading it for you. Everything that is written in this text, I will be covering it. I will be explaining it in the figures. Okay. Let's do figures. Let's explain half and then let's stop it here. Let's take the attendance. Maybe after that we will talk. Do you have any question between?
No, sir.
Okay. Then this material is already available on Moodle. You can go through that. Now, the reason I'm stopping this class here is I need to know. Okay. Yeah. Today is 25th, na? 25th, and this is second division, 25th February. Now, I need to know whoever was absent, what is the reason they were absent? Still, we have 3 people absent. Now, let me see who all. Now, you can tell me 41 was absent. 48 was absent. 50 absent. 52 absent. 50 absent. 56 absent. 64 is also absent. 70 is
Sir, 64 Makaran Sontake present.
4 is present.
Yes.
You were not present in the first 5 minutes of the class.
Sir,
I
there was
need to
some
know
network
why is
issue.
that. You all are in the hostel. So if your batchmates are able to join, you are saying a network issue, that won't be entertained. See, in the initial 5 minutes, this number was given to me by your CR that these numbers were absent. Now, I need to know that the 64, see, you can always say we had network connectivity issue. But if 30 members of your class are able to join the same Wi-Fi and you're not able to join, that must be serious. And I would also say that if at all you are not able to connect, you do have a phone, you have phone data with you, right? Don't you have any data?
Yes, sir, I have.
Then see, the thing is, we have only